Hello everyone, this is Winter Alliance and I'm back with another video. So today I'm going to be discussing how to get your mixes sounding nice and wide, but this technique will also be helpful to getting your mixes to sound a lot cleaner as well. The effect we'll be using today is called mid-side processing and is normally heard in a mastering context, but today we'll actually be applying it as an insert effect because it actually produces a really interesting and nice sounding effect. It's a little confusing at first, but it is quite simple to use, so even if you don't fully understand what's actually happening underneath the hood, you can still use the effect to its full potential. So before we begin, I show you actually how to use the effect, let me show you a before and after on a sound. Alright, so first I'm going to play this is before right here, and then I'll play you after to show you what it sounds like. Alright, so that's what it sounds like before and after the effect. As you've noticed, there's quite a bit of low mids in the first example, but then you have a nice wide sound, but it's also a lot cleaner once you apply this mid-side processing effect. This sample is a sound from a remix I did for ODESZA's track White Lies, which is currently entered in a remix competition. So if you like the video, if it helps you out, it'd be great. I'd really appreciate a vote on the remix. I'll put a link in the description. Okay, so what is mid-side processing? Well, what mid-side processing essentially does is it splits the mono information, the information that's the same in both left and right channels, and the stereo information. You can think of this as panning, reverb tails, or any sound where there's a difference between the left and right channels, and it splits these into two separate outputs and allows you to process those each individually. It does this by phase cancellation, audio summing and splitting, and some other confusing things, but simply put, you have a wide sounding audio channel and a not wide sounding audio channel that you can both process independently of each other. There are two different rack extensions that could do this in a concise way that's easy to use. The first one is free and it's called Red Rock Sound RE181 Mid-Side Splitter, and the second one, and the one that we'll be using in this video today, is the Quad Electra Stereo Splitter. It's only about $9 and it has some better functionality than the other splitter, but essentially they both do the same thing, so you can really use either one. This rack extension was recommended to me by the Reason artist Mikus when I was wondering how he got the synths to sound so wide in his Armin van Buuren remix of Beautiful Life. If you've never heard his music before, make sure to check it out because he uses Reason to make all of his tracks and they just sound absolutely incredible. So here are the two sounds and they sound quite nice, but again there was that low mid frequency buildup in the sounds. With normal EQ, if we cut this out, it would affect the entire sound, leaving the information in the stereo field sounding a lot thinner, which we don't want because the information that's in the wide channel already sounds pretty good. Alright, so how are we going to fix this? Well, let's go ahead and solo out the first sound, which sounds like this. And we'll get to work. So let's go ahead and open this up and load in a Quad Electra Stereo Splitter. And then next, we're going to create two different M-class equalizers, and then hit tab to look at the back and we'll route this up. So as you can see here, we have this two mixer section and this insert section. The one that we want to deal with today is this inserts. If you wanted to split this into two separate audio outputs, like you wanted to put a reverb on one or something, you could do that through this output. But today we'll just be using this one. So for the mid channel, take this M out, put it into the left, and take the left out of this EQ and put it back into that input. And do the same for the side input. So now what we have going on is the mid channel has one equalizer and the side channel has another. And the cool part about this rack extension is we can actually solo out these individual bands. So this is what the mid sounds like by itself. And this is what the side sounds like by itself. So hopefully that kind of gives you a little bit better explanation as to what's actually going on with this. So what we're going to do with this first sound is we're actually going to cut out some of these low mids around, let's say, 500. Let's go ahead and just solo things out. And that is a pretty extreme cut, but because we have this side information that's not equalized, it actually will still sound quite full. So let's listen to it now with both enabled. So see how the signal sounds a lot cleaner and also a lot wider at the same time. Another cool trick for whenever equalizing the side signal is to take the high frequency boost and just boost it up by, let's say, around 4.6 decibels. What this does is it'll make everything sound a lot wider when you add it back in. So it sort of takes the side information and really brings it out and makes it a lot sparklier, and it just makes it brighter sounding. So again, beforehand, this effect sounds like this, and after. And as you can see, the volume really doesn't change very much, but the overall characteristic and timbre of the sound changes tremendously. So let's go ahead and try this on the other pad sound that I have, which sounds like this. Which again is really cool, but it has tons of low mid frequencies. So let's go here, quad electrostereo splitter, create 2 instances of the M class, and route it up. All right, so let's solo out the mids. And don't forget to actually plug it in all the way. There we go. And for this sound, I'm actually going to cut some really, really low frequencies here. Right around there. And then again, just boost some of the highs a little bit. And then together they sound like this. So as you can really hear on this example is the information that's kind of the stereo of the width of the sound. It doesn't really alter itself very much, but the mid sort of scoops out and sounds a lot cleaner. So again, here I'm going to show you before and after with the effects applied. And if we solo things out, this is before. And again, afterwards. Alright, so I hope that all made sense, and this is a really, really cool effect to use. Just make sure not to overdo it. So I'd put it on a few select sounds that you really want to highlight inside your mix, rather than putting it on like every single synth sound or pad or whatever. Works really great for these kind of ambient sounds like you heard in this example. If you guys have a minute, I'd really appreciate a vote on my remix for that competition. If I win, I get the opportunity to perform at Bonnaroo Music Festival, which would be really incredible. So if you guys want to help me out, you can just check out the link below. And you don't need to make any sort of account. You just need to follow the link and click vote. And as always, feel free to hit me up if you have any questions. Thanks, and see you guys all next time.